In this video, we will look at mechanisms for evolution. Do you remember the definition of a mutation? Now, hopefully you do. Mutation is a random permanent change in the base sequence of DNA. Now, remember, it's a random change. Okay, so they occur independently of the organism's needs. The occurrence of a mutation is unrelated to how useful or harmful the mutation would be. Now, let's look at the example camouflage. So camouflage is a mutation that would have occurred, and basically an organism blends in with its surroundings, therefore is not being eaten by other organisms, predators, because they are not seen. And because they're not seen, they can successfully reproduce and pass their alleles on to the next generation. And that's why you have an increase in the number of those types of organisms. Okay, so here are some more notes around mutations. We will look at this part down the bottom. Now, not all mutations introduce or are introduced into the gene pool because they may be somatic, so occur in the body cells. They're in the gametes, but they go unfertilized, and they are lethal. Okay, so 3 points. Now, if the mutant allele is disadvantageous in some ways, this will reduce fitness. When the allele may simply be lost from a population, if the new allele conveys some adaptative or competitive advantage, the frequency of the allele will increase. So as we can see here, we have 3 different colored lines. So the mutant allele is blue. And then we have these 2 different alleles here. Now, for example, the orange one, we just have, this allele capital A not really changing at all, but the lowercase a here may have been selected against, therefore the numbers are decreasing. And so right at the end, pretty much 0%. There's no alleles, no organisms left. But this mutation actually has an advantage. Therefore, we have a higher increase in the frequency of that allele. Okay, so migration is one of the other points we need to talk about. So mutations first thing, and then migration. Now, migration occurs when individuals move into, which is immigration, or out of immigration of a population. Okay, so when organisms migrate and breed, they contribute their alleles to the gene pool of the local population. Okay, and this actually may cause problems. So it can disrupt favorable mutations and can reduce genetic variation. Say, for example, you have an island, okay, just off the coast of New Zealand. The island itself has a gene pool, okay, with certain types of birds, and then you have birds that fly over from the mainland onto the island, and then they will bring their alleles into breed, and therefore creating new alleles in that island gene pool. Okay, so this explains it in more detail. Feel free to pause the video and read through this information. So the rate of migration can have a significant effect, as we've just talked about. In small populations, migration can have a major effect because we only have a small, limited amount of alleles present. Okay, so that is the end of this video. I want you to pause this slide and have a go at answering these 2 questions before we move on to the next one.